What's going on, Coballers? It's your boy Tony Kavar back here with another video. Today we're talking about Invincible. I just finished season 3 last night, and oh boy, I got some things to say. So the show kind of starts off as your average superhero story. You know, there's crime happening, superheroes get involved, they stop it, save innocent lives. It's real basic stuff. It's high school kid has powers, he's trying to hide his secret identity, he's trying to deal with a girlfriend in school, and while trying to be a superhero. And the ending of episode 1, if you know, you know, that shit is where the tone is set for the show. The ending of the first episode was a great hook, but they definitely left us hanging for about 6 or 7 episodes before they continued to conclude what the hell the ending of the first one was. That being said, you still need that first season to gain context of the world building, how the characters think, how they act, what their morals already are. Once you get all that established, I'm telling you, this show fucking grabs you by the balls and doesn't let you go. And I'm telling you, the last 2 episodes of season 1 are fucking ridiculous. That shit is action-packed, very well animated. And that's another great thing about having this be an animation, is you can show the impact of these punches and the speed of them flying, the strength of their fighting, just the brute force that these Viltrumites have could only really be shown in animation. And my god, the fucking aura that Omni-Man has. Who better to voice him than J.K. Simmons?
I will burn this planet down before I spend another minute living among these animals.
The writing is amazing. Some of the lines are too cold for their own good.
I don't care how strong you are. I don't care how fast you are. I can see the future. You don't live to see tomorrow.
That's called motherfucking bars, nigga! You know nothing about that!
One thing I love about this show is how it handles morality in a character. For instance, Omni-Man, Mark's dad, tried to destroy the planet, killed hundreds of people in the process, and then flew away and got cold feet. Now, understandably, the rest of the world hates Omni-Man. They want him dead. However, Mark sympathizes with him because he's his dad. He thinks people could give him a second chance and he might be redeemable. In another villain, we see Angstrom, who lets all these other evil Invincibles from other dimensions try to take over Earth just to get back at our Invincible. And again, arguably, everybody wants this guy dead. He's a villain. And Mark is about to do that. He's about to go through with it until he hears his brother Oliver interrupt him. And then it puts stuff into perspective for him because he sees his dad could be redeemable. Maybe Angstrom could be redeemable. Of course, the motherfucker slips away. And then Mark even admits that he should have killed that guy.
All I can think about is how I should have killed him.
Would have saved a lot of lives, but you can't blame yourself for being a good person, Mark.
So I love seeing this battle in Mark's head that he's going through when it comes to his morals and what he stands by. And I really like how Cecil words it. He says,
We can be the good guys, or we can be the guys that save the world. We can't be both.
show is all about perspective, because every villain in this show, you hear them out to a certain extent. We'll see their backstory, the situation that they're in, the cards that they were dealt, to where they have no other option but to, you know, do what they need to do to survive, which paints them out to be a villain. I love the title card. Each time the title card drops, more and more blood gets added on within each episode, advancing in the gore with the show. And then for seasons 2 and 3, I've seen people point out that each title card represents another Mark from another dimension. Neat details like that show that the creators give a shit about the show. The music in this is solid. There's a couple of licensed songs in here, which some people will get annoyed by, but I think they're used appropriately. It doesn't get annoying. And it's really engaging, because I like whenever they use the songs of like a flying montage. Like, this show loves to romanticize superheroing, but then shoves the harsh reality of the flaws that come with being a superhero down your fucking throat. Honestly, every character in this show is fleshed out really well. For instance, Cecil, they show him a flashback, which totally explains why he is the way he is and what makes him tick. Holy shit, Debbie's character probably goes through the most emotional baggage out of anybody in this show. She's definitely been traumatized the hardest out of anybody here. I gotta give props to her. It's honestly kind of inspiring to see her go through all this shit as a regular human, keep trying to show up for her kids, be a good mom. It's crazy. I don't know, I really like Debbie's character. Even Donald was fleshed out in this show, and we gotta talk about how Donald 1v1'd Omni-Man longer than he should have, and then died with the coldest line ever.
It's been an honor, sir.
Who are you talking to?
The honor was all mine.
Goosebumps. Rex was a character who I hated so much in the first season, and then he ended up becoming one of my favorite characters in the second. They redeem his character completely. I can't believe I didn't see it coming. They built him up to be a redeemable character, then he self-sacrificed himself, which was such a beautiful moment, to be honest. But I'm telling you, this show will make you fall in love with characters just to kill them off. It's tragically beautiful. And I'm telling you, Mark's character just cannot catch a break. Like, after one conflict, he's just, boom, introduced to another one, then another one, then another, and he doesn't even have time to process all this fucking trauma he's going through, which kind of explains why he is the way he is. But this also gives less of a chance to flesh out his character a little bit more. I want to talk about Conquest's character. He had one episode and he held so much presence. I like how he's different from the other Viltrumites, and it's so fun to see such a force just break down our main character. Now, Oliver's character stresses me out. His character feels like a loaded gun to the audience's head. From the moment we saw him as an infant, I was like, you kill that baby right now. Which is crazy because by the end of season 3, Oliver ended up being one of the only people that could actually help in this situation. Some certain side characters I want to talk about that I really like, one being Machine Head, and he's in a handful of episodes. To me, he's just hilarious because he's so chill about everything. He never seems worried. He always seems in control, and his auto-tune voice is just fucking hilarious.
I know where your family lives, and that means you work for me until I say you're fucking done.
Battle Beast has got to be my favorite character. Still also only in a few scenes of this show, but he is relentless. I haven't seen a single character except for Battle Beast have this fucking strength, aura, and cold lines like this.
There is no honor in killing insects.
There is no honor in killing insects. I love Immortal's plotline. Specifically the episode where they time travel to the future and Mark sees him and he tries to bring up Kate and he doesn't even know who he's talking about. He's done the deal of love hundreds of times, so he's just desensitized to it. It's super fascinating seeing this character go through that. And Oliver killing the Mahler twins is another perspective of killing unjustly. We started the show with the twins, and throughout the show we learned that yes, they are villains, but they're not necessarily bad people. They have complex morals and goals, but always get stamped as the bad guys. So when Oliver kills them, the audience feels they didn't deserve to die. But from Oliver's perspective, it was the logical thing to do.
That's what happens when you're a bad guy.
Like, I like this one episode where they follow these two guys who get put in a shitty situation and they need to come up with money, and it's for a good purpose and a reason, and then it cuts to Mark just taking them down like nothing, and their story's over. This show is just really huge on perspective. Now, of course, there are certain flaws I'll get into. One of them being the goddamn Sequids. I think they've had these guys come back like 4 times now. It feels like 4 or 5. I can't even count. Do a new plotline already. I think it was a bit of a hiccup on the production side of releasing season 2 into 2 separate parts. But then season 3 dropped entirely, which also led for season 3's animation to probably be the worst out of the 2. Granted, it's still really good animation. There are just a few shots you can maybe point out and be like, yeah, this is poorly animated, like this one, or that one, or this one. But overall, it doesn't compromise the show at all. And they even address that in the show, that the animation can be kind of poor sometimes because the animators don't have enough time to work on it.
Oh, I can't imagine how much work it must be for those fight scenes.
Yeah, those take a while, but we cut corners in other places to make it manageable. You ever notice that sometimes whoever's speaking has their mouth off camera so you never see their lips moving?
Huh. I didn't notice that.
I'm also going to talk about the Rudy and the Monster Girl romance plotline. I just can't get on board with it. It's so weird. Another thing with Monster Girl, the show addresses that every time this girl turns into the monster, she gets a little bit younger and she can't age, which seems like it should be a concerning issue, but we don't ever actually see it be a real issue. They just keep on saying it's a problem, but we don't really even see her get any younger. She stays the same age the entire show. And then they resolve the issue, which was kind of like, why'd you even make this a dilemma if it wasn't even gonna be a dilemma? With Duplicate, I thought it was kind of weird that the show really tried telling us that she was dead. Really? A character that can duplicate themselves is dead. Like, you wouldn't have a backup copy anywhere. They let us believe for several episodes that she died. They give her a funeral, and then she appears and she's like, oh yeah, I kept a copy. I'm like, okay, like, I called that. Amber, I think it's hilarious how everybody hated Amber's character so much that it felt like they just shut her out of the 3rd season completely. It's also hilarious how Mark breaks breaks up with Amber because he can't deal with school and being in a relationship and being a superhero at the same time. So they decide to break up, and then Mark immediately gets with his rebound and starts dating Eve. I'm also gonna say Adam, Eve, and Mark's relationship felt pretty rushed. I still don't get why they bothered giving us a mid-credit scene and then having more after the show. It just kind of gets me confused on the pacing of the show every time I'm watching it. It seemed a little out of character for Cecil to keep Conquest alive to try to get information out of him for the Viltrum Empire, thinking that he can really restrain Conquest. Like, we didn't just see him use a $14 billion laser on Omni-Man for a mere nosebleed.
$400 billion for the world's most expensive nosebleed.
But I hope they give him better reasons in season 4 of why he believes this cell will work. So is Invincible worth watching? Yes, absolutely. I mean, if you're not into the superhero genre, or you're really prestigious when it comes to animation and you don't necessarily like gore or violence, then maybe you wouldn't like this show. My official rating on the entirety of the show, I'm going 8 out of 10. This show's fire. I'm telling you, all the flaws in this show does not compromise the story. I think my favorite thing about the show is just the writing alone. The fire writing is just one of many factors that carries this show. So I mean, that was just a few things I want to say about this show. It's fucking incredible. With all that being said, in case I miss you guys, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. I'll see you on the next video. Peace. While trying to be a superhero. Are you fucking kidding me?